Journey to Lemora, Chapter 4 The Door. Amber was grounded from her phone for the next week. She still got by just fine and had more friends than ever. The whole school was talking about our party at my haunted house. Apparently it was a hit, even though nothing really happened. Nothing changed for me except now instead of being the weird loner, I'm the weird loner sister of the coolest girl in school. You know, Catty, we wouldn't have got caught if you'd just help us clean up, Amber said to me on the bus ride home. Your friends made a mess and I'm supposed to clean it up? Gee, sounds like so much fun. You know they all hate me, right? I glowered, and Amber looked at me guiltily. They just don't know you because you don't let them. No one's ever seen your house before that party. I like my privacy. I don't get you, Catty. Don't you get lonely? Don't you miss having friends? She asked. I do, I don't like crowds, I admitted, and Amber's eyes widened like something clicked. Oh, really? She said, biting her lip. She was up to something. When we got home, Dad and Lisa weren't home from work yet. It was just the two of us again, and Amber was tapping wildly on her phone now that she finally got it back. She hadn't said 2 words to me since we got home, but kept looking at me coyly. There was a knock at the door. Amber, seriously? You just got your phone back, I said to her. Just answer the door, she called from her room playfully. Now we're even. I pulled the door open to see the welcoming face of Nick. Just Nick and no one else. He smiled and I froze for a minute before letting him in. Thanks for inviting me for dinner. I was a little surprised after what happened last time, he said to me. After seeing me still frozen and slightly panicking, Amber came to my rescue. Oh, thanks for coming, Nick. We're so happy you could make it. Catty was just going to make something, weren't you? She winked at me. What was she thinking? Rather than making a scene in front of Nick, I decided to let it play out. I went into the kitchen and took out a frying pan and a baking dish and set them on the cold stove. I set out the hamburger to defrost while I prepped the rest of the food. I started learning to cook a little after Mom left. Dad needed extra help around the house, especially when he had late nights at work. I also did my own laundry, dishes, and various other chores. Because of necessity, I had to be more mature than kids my own age, but that also meant I didn't know how to have fun with them. Filling the void Mom left wasn't easy, and I had a feeling Dad hoped Lisa would do that now. I looked in the cupboard and found some taco shells and a jar of salsa. I ducked into the fridge for some onions, garlic, tomatoes, lettuce, and fresh cheddar cheese, and started dicing and grating. Amber and Nick entered the kitchen to grab a soda from the fridge. That looks good. Do you need any help? Nick asked. I've got it under control. Thanks, though, I replied without looking up. Nick really was nice, I thought to myself. Aw, cute. These shells look like little boats, Amber giggled with a babyish voice that made me cringe a little. I sliced up the onions and garlic and heated the pan. I added the hamburger to the pan. The smell of spices wafted into the air as I added them to the mix. I warmed the shells in the oven for just a minute and started to assemble the food. It was all coming together, and the two sat at the table with hungry looks in their eyes. After it was finished, I sprinkled a little cheddar cheese on top of each taco and set the food in front of Amber and Nick. Thank you for the food, they both said before digging in. Amber was much less formal without her mother there to lead a prayer. I sat down with them and ate slowly. Just so you know, I didn't throw it, I muttered suddenly. Throw what? Nick looked puzzled. The meatball. Oh, I heard about that, but I hardly believe it. You're too sweet to do something like that on purpose. These tacos are so good. He laughed with a crunch and grabbed another. Amber smiled with her lips, but it didn't carry into her eyes. You think this is good? You should try my she started to say, but was cut off by Nick. Any luck with that key? He asked me. Not yet. I think I found something about the symbols on it, though, I replied between bites. Key? What key? Amber looked flustered. What are you guys talking about? Can I see it? The journal, I mean. Maybe I can help you solve it. Nick continued with interest. Sure, let's clean up first and then I'll go get it, I smiled, that happy flitter feeling slowly returning. You don't have to clean right now, Amber started to say, but Nick cleared the table and started filling the sink with water. I'm helping with this, Nick insisted, scrubbing the dishes. Amber sat looking dejected, but did nothing to help. We finished cleaning in just 10 minutes. I ran to my room and grabbed the journal and went back to the kitchen where Nick and Amber were waiting. I put the journal on the table with a thud and opened to the page with the ruined translations. Then I took the chain with the key off my neck and placed it on the table next to it. Nick's eyes darted from the charts and back to the key, and Amber rested her head on the palm of her hand, looking bored. What is this about? I thought we were going to have fun, not do more homework, she complained. This journal and key were left behind by my mom. I think if we decode it, we can find out what happened to her, I explained to Amber. Really? Dad said that she just went crazy, Amber replied. Sorry, not trying to offend, she added after I gave her a dirty look. I found the first symbol. The spiky one is Ellie, meaning fire. Cool, Nick grinned, and I was surprised just how into this he was. I started looking over the journal too. Rhea is the wavy one, meaning water, I cheered, pointing at the corresponding symbols on the key and in the book. Ore for wind or air. Ilian for forest and trees. I don't know what this means, but they all seem to be nature elements, Nick pondered, running a hand through his hair. The last two were Ki for light and for darkness, and the image of the terrible shadow creature devouring flashed through my mind. Suddenly I had a horrible, uneasy feeling, and my stomach started to ache. Maybe we should stop, I gasped between breaths, brushing my bangs out of my eyes to feel my clammy forehead. Nick looked up at me and concern crossed his face. Are you okay? You look kinda sick, he asked. I swooned on the spot and collapsed to the floor. The room faded away, and I saw her. My mother. She was wearing a yellow dress, the same one she wore so many years ago. She whispered to me in a misty voice, Catty, it's time to come home. Just say the words and we will be reunited. Unehi Telki. Mom vanished as the room started to come back into focus. Amber was lightly slapping my face and Nick dabbed my head with a wet cloth. Oh, thank God, she's alive, Amber sighed with relief. What happened? I asked, getting up slowly. The back of my head hurt from falling and my ears rang a little. You passed out. It was only for about a minute. I was going to call an ambulance, Nick replied. No, I'm fine, really, I gasped, holding the back of my head. Are you sure? You might have a concussion. You hit the ground pretty hard, Nick questioned in a serious tone. She's fine now. Let's just forget this happened. Amber laughed nervously. Unehi Telki. The words echoed out of my mouth without a thought. The purple gemstone in the key flashed, and the whole house was filled with an unnatural, blinding light. A translucent door appeared in the middle of the living room. It was arched and covered in the same strange glowing runes as the key. What is that? Amber yelled. Nick circled the door, careful not to touch it. Even though the door looked as see-through as violet-colored glass, whenever Nick walked behind the door on either side, he vanished from view. It's real, I gasped at the door. That must be the way to Lemora. She wasn't crazy after all. Hello, my name is Ella, and welcome to my channel. Here I'll be sharing with you my stories, artwork, animations. If you enjoy my content, please support me by clicking the like button, subscribing, sharing, or ringing the bell for notifications. Links to my website and social media are below. I will be releasing content in sequential order, so please check for new chapters each week.